Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of What's the Matter with Liam here with Chris again. Right, Chris? Obviously, after last week, we had Robbie on the show last week talking about the Arsenal game, the upcoming Arsenal game. That's obviously on the agenda here, but there's one thing I kind of want to clear up. First of all, before we go any further, I know Sam for United People's TV had already done something on this, but I kind of want to get my point across and see what Chris thinks about it as well. We all know what happened with Rooney last week after the England game. He was photographed pissed, really, dancing beside a piano or whatever, at 5 o'clock in the morning. There's various different stories have come out, whether he was allowed to do it or whether he was given permission. It was in the hotel, the groom pulled him in, because he was at a wedding, obviously the groom pulled him in and asked him about it. But whatever happened anyway, and he's come out after the Arsenal game on Saturday and said, it's a direct quote, "I will not allow the media to write my obituary." Now, for me personally, I think he's right in that he still has, he might not have as much to offer as he did 5 years ago, but he's still a Man United player, he's still England captain. For him to be, whether he was allowed to do it or not, it was his night off. He was in the hotel, he wasn't acting the complete muppet, he wasn't being aggressive. He's entitled to go and have a drink. It's just basically the Sun newspaper trying to sell papers. I know Chris has a different outlook on this.
Well, not really. It's the same in that he hasn't done anything wrong. Let's be honest. The fella's gone out and had a drink after playing a match, which that's a ritual, isn't it? Like, you win a match, a big match like that, captain for your country. Of course, go out and have a few drinks. But the difference here is how bad Rooney's been for so long, and how much people have been on his back for club and country.
About his actual performance.
About his performance levels. I mean, the
what
fella
difference would that make?
He hasn't done anything wrong, right? There's other players out every week doing the same thing.
Just sorry to interrupt, just to put this into perspective, I heard on the radio this afternoon that the FA won't be punishing Jordan Henderson and Adam Lallana. Now, regardless what club they play for, we're both not exactly Liverpool fans, but regardless whatever club they play for, they were in a strip club in the same night that Rooney was photographed. I don't know what time they were there too. They're in a strip club the same night, and the FA aren't gonna pursue the matter any further. But is that because they're performing for their club, or is it just because the Rooney saga, as it were, is ongoing with the media?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know about the other two, but surely there's some sort of protocol there. I mean, if there's no policy in place that says that England players can't go out and have a drink after the match, then they haven't done anything wrong. If there's no policy that bans that while they're on international duty, then they're entitled to do it. So therefore, Rooney and the others haven't done anything wrong. My issue isn't with whether he's done something wrong or not. My issue is with the fact that he's been so bad for so long, and is that because on a Saturday night he's buying a load of beer and ordered a pizza in? Like, is that the lifestyle that he's living? Because if it is, then maybe that's contributing to how slow he is and how sluggish his play is at times. I mean, all I know is, you look at the likes of Ronaldo, Giggs, Carrick, other players that have maintained high levels of performance for a long time and maintained it regularly.
But for all you know that they like a drink on a Saturday night, it just so happens that he happens to be photographed doing it. And it's not even as if, he's not sitting in the corner by himself with a bottle of whiskey on some random night. He just beat Scotland 3-0, he was the captain.
No, I get that, I do get it. But I think, in my mind, I'm thinking, Rooney knows, next week we've got Arsenal. Everyone's been on my back for the last however long. I need to train well this week. I need to be sharp. I need to be focused on what I'm doing for my club. But he thought, nah, swerve it.
It's over a week later, though.
For a pint. I know it's a week
I'm
later.
just playing devil's advocate.
But the training's not a week later. He's got to train consistently well throughout the course of those 7 days, 6 days, whatever it is, before the Arsenal game, to be as sharp as he needs to be. And surely that has to have played a factor in Mourinho not starting him, because he's thinking.
Well, if that's the case, then you would never be allowed to go out. Do you know what I mean? Because there's always a game the next week.
Look, if Rooney was playing well, no one would have batted an eyelid.
This is my issue. But I heard someone on TalkSport during the week as well talking about if he's playing well, how can he justify the money that he's on? He's not allowed to go out and have a drink and whatnot. He should be put in the public eye like that. What has the money, his wages, or his sponsors or anything like that got to do with him having a drink celebrating after a victory?
Nothing. But on a personal level, for Wayne Rooney, surely he needs to have a bit more pride and determination in what he's doing. I mean, he's getting paid a lot of money. Surely he has to feel a bit of responsibility to justify what's going on there. And to me, it just looks like, I don't care that I'm playing as bad as he has been, as long as I get my wages every week. And that to me, that just screams that's wrong. The fella's been shite for how long?
Look, I'm not debating his form. I'm certainly not debating the way the media have attacked him and whatnot, and how much money he's earning. But in my opinion, I'm obviously neither of us are England fans, but he's just beaten Scotland. I mean, that's probably the biggest scalp of the last few years for them. You know, why wouldn't you go and celebrate?
No, I get that. Go out, have a few drinks. That's what people do. But the extent to which the few drinks went on just seems to me as like I don't know about you, but we're both similar age to Wayne Rooney. It takes you a few days to get over a session like that.
Yeah.
So
Drink like that.
if he's feeling that for a few days in training, it takes you a bit of time to get back up to your 100%. Your sharpness is going to be affected a week later.
So the question from there is, was he ready to come out and defend himself and have a go back at the media?
Well, if he feels like he hasn't done anything wrong, he shouldn't be defending himself. But I think
this is it. This is the big question. After having already apologised, he's already come out after the picture was shown in that rag of a newspaper, and he's already apologised. I'm sorry to everyone, blah, 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 whatever the story may be. And then after the Arsenal game, he comes out and says, I won't allow the media to write my obituary. I've still got a lot to offer. Like, surely that's...
It's bad PR, isn't it? Like, if he thinks he hasn't done anything wrong, regardless of what you or I think, or anyone, if he thinks he hasn't done anything wrong, you don't come out and say sorry, and you just leave it.
I'm with you on that. Surely someone from the club should have put an arm around him and said, look, say nothing. Just leave it, let them say what they want to say. Ultimately, you're still a Man United player and you're still England captain up until he didn't play on Tuesday night as well. You know, but that's... Anyway,
I think
let us know what you think.
There has to be a bit more pride there for me. Like, he hasn't done anything wrong. That's what I think. He can do it. He's entitled to do it. But if you're playing as badly as he has and your club's in the position that it is, surely you have to be a bit more dedicated to the cause there.
I don't know. I think that provided that the following provisions were in place, that it was his night off, there was no curfew about when he had to go to bed. He was inside the compounds of the hotel. He hadn't even left the hotel.
That's what I'm saying. He hasn't broken any rules. He hasn't done anything wrong in that respect. But in terms of what a professional footballer of his level in his position should and shouldn't be doing, I personally think that he shouldn't be doing it.
Well, why?
He's entitled to do it. But I think in the position that he's in at the moment, in the position that United are in, the form that he's in.
What has his form got to do with it?
If
he's banging it, if he scored 20 goals this season already, right, it's okay for him to go and get blocked at 5 o'clock in the morning. Well, even though he's still got Arsenal the week after that.
If he can maintain his performance and still and have that lifestyle, then yes. But it seems to me that if that's his lifestyle, which it seems to be, it's affecting his performance levels, and has been for a while.
There's two. It's not really black or white, is it?
No, it's not. I mean, it's not. That's what I'm saying. It's. I find it difficult to judge because he hasn't done anything wrong in a rule breaking sense.
Yeah.
But in a moral sense, I think, if you're getting paid that money and if you're in that situation, I don't think you should be focusing on going out and getting pissed until 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Let us know what you think. I mean, was Rooney right? First of all, was he right to come out and apologise afterwards if he didn't think he'd done anything wrong? And, after that, to have a go back at the media for vilifying him yet again. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Now, moving on to the Arsenal game, I have to say, if anyone's seen the show last week, they'll see me basically crucify Mourinho and say that he'd play a really defensive team against Arsenal the way he did against Liverpool and against Chelsea, and he couldn't have proved me more wrong. And it's almost like a paradox, because the reason why the result is disappointing is the same reason why it's encouraging. Because we played the better football. Well, I think we did. I think we were better going forward. We had more of the ball. We pinned Arsenal back for pretty much all of the second half, and then that one killer ball at the end, last 2 minutes, it ruined the game for me, really. And I think Mourinho said it best after the game as well. He was like, it didn't do anything really, Arsenal, the whole game, and that last, it was like a sucker punch, wasn't it?
It was.
So I will take that all day.
First of all, what a couple of substitutions by Wenger to do that.
Oh, yeah.
Because obviously his decision has changed the game. But I think it's positive. The performance is positive. And I think there's been a lot of performances this season where you think, and we've said in here, we've played well there, but we haven't won the match. And that's the thing that's bitter. That's the bitter taste, is there seems to be something in our mentality at the moment where we're playing well at times. but
Mourinho
just
said
not
with the
seeing it
unluckiest
through.
club in the
I think
league.
that's an easy cop out. I think Van Gaal got a lot of grief for saying things like that, unluckiness with injuries, blaming other things. Like, ultimately, you've got to look at the players. I don't think there's an issue with the manager. I think Mourinho has shown this season that he is the tactician that knows when to sit back, defend like he did at Anfield and try and nick a 1-0. And then against Arsenal, he played
But Matt, this is
a good game.
that's a great point, because it brings me on to my next question. If he can do that against Liverpool, if he can do that against Arsenal, play attack-minded football against Arsenal, drop Fellaini, play Carrick and Herrera in the holding role, play Pogba, have a bit more freedom, like exactly what happened on Saturday, and we could pin them back. Why can he not do it at Liverpool? What's he so scared of going to Anfield?
Well, I don't think he's
because
scared.
Arsenal effectively, with the exception of Liverpool, I think they're the best team going forward. They have been since the start of the Premiership this year. And I know Liverpool were the only team to beat them at home, to beat them at all for the whole season. That was the first game of the season. So why can he not do it against the other clubs?
Well, I think there has to be a difference in your game plan to when you're playing one of the big clubs away as to whenever you're playing them at home. And that's what happened at Anfield. He still in his early days at United, he went out and he thought, I'll sit back here, stifle the way that they play,
Yeah.
and then hopefully we can nick 1 or 2 on the counter. And it almost worked. But I think Mourinho is looking at this in the long term rather than the short term, which I think a lot of the analysis that's coming out of his management style is very short term viewed. I think he's thinking, if I can get a decent finish in the league this year by not losing away from home and maybe trying to nick the odd win against the top 4 teams, the big teams, then if we can win at home and take a lot of points in that sort of mini league among the top 6, then we're going to finish well in the table. But he has to be sensible about the way he goes about it. Like, you can't bring substandard players playing against a better team and just go all out and hope that you're going to win all of the time. You have to be a bit more sensible.
But I don't think the players he selected are substandard. You look at our starting 11 on Saturday, with the exception
I'm
of
not talking
Jones.
about Saturday. I don't mean Saturday, but I mean, like, there's been times we've played games and we've got bad players in the team, and you have to look after your game plan whenever you've got those players in the team. If you've not got a better side than the others, then you can't necessarily just go out and blow them away.
I don't know. But on Saturday he selected, with the exception of our 2 centre halves, who I thought actually had good games in fairness to them.
Yeah.
I
I thought Rojo was a wee bit dodgy at the start. His passing was bad.
I thought he played. Whenever I saw the starting lineup and I didn't see Dally Blind on the starting lineup, either left back or centre back, I thought they're not going to be able to keep up with Sanchez and Ozil interplaying in between them, because the organisation won't be there. But in fairness to them, they did really well. Second half especially, like, I don't even think I heard Ozil's name the whole second half.
No,
he hardly touched the ball.
They went missing. And in a way, was that a bad game for Arsenal, or did we keep him quiet? I don't know. What do you think it was?
I don't know. I thought he set up really well. I think Herrera and Carrick worked really well in front of the defence.
Yeah.
You see, Herrera was fantastic. I think Juan Mata was man of the match for me. He was brilliant. It just his interplay and his finish as well. What a finish! Do you know how hard it is, that kind of technique to finish like that? It's brilliant.
Mata's been our standout player this season.
But having those 2 guys in there, as I said before, it'll free up Pogba. I was a bit disappointed, I'm not lying, with Marcus Rashford up top. But I don't really think he's an out-and-out striker by himself. He's a striker, but I don't think he can play him up there by himself. Ultimately, he did the job. He held it up, but he's not the kind of guy. He's not a target man. He wants to run at players. He wants the ball at his feet and run at them. He doesn't want to hold it up and wait for the oncoming wingers or Paul Pogba, as it was on Saturday.
But he can play that game, but he didn't play well on Saturday up there. No. He didn't do himself any
But
favours.
then again, not everyone plays 10 out of 10 every match.
No, exactly. He's young.
Yeah.
I was more disappointed in Martial than I was in Rashford.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Czech made a couple of good saves. I think his finishing was a little bit to be desired on Saturday, but I think he did all the running. And I don't know. Martial's been a real strange one this year. I almost get the impression he spat his dummy out the pram or something.
I think he spat his dummy out the pram. He does seem to be in a sulk.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem to be. He's just dragging his feet. He doesn't. I mean, I know he's a bit blasé in the way he appears anyway. He never looks like he's tired or happy or anything. He's just.
That's probably
just
true.
himself.
Yeah.
But he does seem a bit downbeat this season. I don't think he's in a happy place with Mourinho ever since Ibrahimovic took his number.
Yeah. Mourinho dropped him for the first few games this season as well, didn't he? And he was almost undroppable last year under Van Gaal, and to come in and Mourinho not really, not necessarily not fancy him, but just not. He wasn't the big superstar in the team anymore the way he was last year. I think that's kind of not necessarily thrown him off a bit. But
I did like Carrick's the anchor in there. Carrick even frees up Herrera to push forward that little bit more. And as you say, frees up Pogba, who I think we need to start seeing a lot more from there.
We had this conversation off camera actually over the last couple of days, talking about Pogba and his contribution. I still think there's people are getting on his back so quickly. All right, the price tag, yes, but he's played what 10 games. I mean, that's nothing, mate.
It is. No, I'm not. That's what he's had a bit of time now to start showing what we've bought for 90 million.
But Mourinho's played him in 4 or 5 different positions, hasn't he? I think that false 10 in behind the striker is his best position. I think that's his best position. I think it has been since when he was at Juventus. I think it has been when he's at United beforehand as well. That's his best position. That's my opinion. Like, obviously, let us know what you think.
I think he needs just a more free centre midfield role, and I think he needs to be. I think he likes being box to box. I think he likes taking the ball down the pitch, running with it, giving it, pushing on with the play, and then being the man that's finishing it off at the end of the move.
He can still be that man playing the false 10 role effectively. He's not. I don't know. I think that people are quick to jump on his back. I think that now Mourinho has almost got that mould of his best starting 11 and where people should be. I think Saturday was a great explanation of it, not playing the likes of a defensive midfielder in with Herrera and playing Carrick in there. I think that shows that he's now seen his best attack-minded team, and he knows who to play where. I think beforehand, pardon me, I think beforehand he didn't really know what his best starting 11 was, or even his best 14, should we say, and who should be in there and who shouldn't. But now that he's had his time to play around with different positions with various different players, I think now he's got a bit of momentum, shall we say. Even though the result in the end was a bit disappointing, at least you can see that the signs are encouraging. That
it was flattening result, like it was same old.
I know, yeah.
It was like,
I know.
With what, 6 or 7 minutes to go, you're thinking, we're going to beat Arsenal here, come on. And you're on the way up. And then that goal goes in and it just deflates you and you think, we always do, isn't it?
I know, it used to be the other way around under Ferguson, wasn't it? We were always the last one getting the last
Pogba,
kick.
I'm not getting on his back. I'm just saying that you want to see, we need game changers. And he hasn't been a game changer yet.
No, like played 10 games, Chris.
We need players
12 games,
that are going to light things up and move things forward. Like whenever things are at a bit of a stalemate in games, that are going to do just a bit of brilliance in there, that are going to link things together or finish off a move that's going to score us goals.
That's why Mata's been.
Mata's been the only one that really is standing out as that player. But really, to be up at the top of the table, you need 2 or 3 of those.
No, pardon me. No, I wholeheartedly agree with you, and I do think Pogba will get there.
Hopefully, yeah.
It's just because of his price tag. People are very quick to say, you'd be expecting him to set up or score every game for that kind of money. Of course you are, everyone would. But I think you need to give him time to, bed in's the wrong word, find his niche, find his right position, especially under Mourinho, because I don't think Mourinho knows his right position yet.
Don't get me wrong, like some of the best players in the Premier League took a long time to bed in. I mean, Ozil didn't start very well whenever he first came.
How long did it take Cristiano Ronaldo?
There's lots of players that take a long time to bed in, and I understand that. I'm just saying, if we're going to make a charge for anything this season, and I think the title's long gone, if we're going to make a charge towards the top 4, which even might be out of reach itself, then we need players like Pogba to start lighting it up. Which
brings me on to my final question then. We're 6 points. We're 6 points off top 4. Is it still doable? You're going to say no, aren't you? Don't say no, like.
I said no a couple of weeks ago. I can't change.
6 points. 6 points is nothing, mate. We're 12 games in. We're a third of the way through the season. 6 points is nothing.
See, we just don't look like a team that's going to claw back 6 points.
On Saturday against Arsenal, I think it showed, not necessarily, we weren't world beaters, but it showed early signs of everyone starting to gel together.
I hope so. But I think my mentality is now, the last 3 seasons have just depressed me so much.
If you look, I'm the same boat. I don't want to get my hopes up, given what's happened the last 2 or 3 seasons. Van Gaal spent 150 million last summer. And where do we go with that? Like,
well, we're not going to be able to spend much more money if the word is that the Adidas deal's going to massively be downsized if we don't qualify for the Champions League again next season.
I really think top 4 is doable. I do, pardon me. Ultimately, other clubs have got to take points of each other. Liverpool drew away to an all-right Southampton team. City just about beat Palace. They were terrible. Like, if anyone saw the highlights of that game, I really didn't rate City against Palace at all. It just shows they're beatable. Everyone thinks these guys are, untouchable. Chelsea, Chelsea look all right. Costa looks... Whenever Costa's firing, Chelsea look good. Whenever you don't have Costa, I don't think they look that good. They look all right. I still think that there's a couple of mistakes in Chelsea. And Tottenham as well. Tottenham are... They're so hit and miss. They're either unbelievable or they're terrible. 2 late goals, a penalty, and Harry Kane in the 89th minute, whenever Randolph threw the ball to him. But I give Tottenham 3 points at the weekend. Otherwise, Spurs would be... You know what I mean?
That's all true, mate. But we're worse.
No, we're not, though. We're not. I don't think we are.
I'm
trying to be optimistic.
The way we play. I know you're trying to be optimistic, but I'm being realistic in comparison to how we've been for the last couple of years.
What I'm trying to say is, we will pick up points and others will lose points. 6 points might seem like a lot now, given 12 games going, but it's in the grand scheme of things, I think we'll be there or thereabouts. I'd say top 4. I think you're probably right. The title's probably out of shot for us, but why can we not push for top 4 for 6 points?
I looked at the fixtures last week and I thought our Christmas fixtures are actually quite good, but we have Arsenal, Everton and Spurs and West Ham coming up before Christmas.
Yeah. So we got Feyenoord Thursday, West Ham next Wednesday.
Well, I'm just
Everton.
Premier League.
Yeah.
But in the Premier League we've got Everton, Spurs and West Ham coming up over the next while. If we can get through those with maximum points going into the Christmas fixtures, which aren't too bad, then you never know, we could be scratching the arse of the top 4. But if we don't come out of those 3 games with maximum points, I think we're going to struggle.
I don't know. Well, if you look at it, out of those 3 teams you just mentioned, Everton are pushing top 4 at the minute, aren't they? A point at Everton, a point at Tottenham, and West Ham. We should really beat West Ham at home. That's next Sunday, isn't it? We should really beat them at home.
I don't think we can be talking about points against those teams anymore.
Why?
I think you win against Arsenal, then maybe, but we've lost points there, like so.
But so have Arsenal.
But I know, but I think the last time you asked me this question and I said top 4 was out of reach, I said there was at least 4 better teams than us in the league, and I still think there are, to be honest. But we've put in a couple of good performances, but performances don't get you top 4. Points get you top 4, and we haven't done well at bringing them home.
Well, I don't know. It's yet to be determined. I personally think that there's still a long way to go. 6 points is nothing at this stage of the season, nothing. And I think that if provided we build on Saturday and build on the Arsenal game, even to a certain extent the Swansea game, because we had a good performance against Swansea the previous match day. If we build on those kind of performances and keep going the way we're going in terms of team selection and not bringing back idiots like Fellaini and playing the defensive, build a wall rather than go forward and trying to attack the opposition, I think we'll push for top 4. And I think ultimately Mourinho knows how to win, doesn't he? He's been there, he's done it. I'm not saying that obviously last year with Chelsea is an anomaly, as it were, but pardon me, he knows how to win. And I think that Mourinho has the experience to push the team forward, and I think we'll finish top 4. There's a question mark of whether it will be even in contention for the title. I think that's pretty much gone. I don't want to concede it just yet, but I think it's gone. But I think we'll be there top 4 anyway.
You think we'll get top 4?
I think we'll get top 4, yeah.
I hope so. I really, really hope so. I think I'm in the doldrums at the moment of depression with United. I'm just so sick to death.
Well, you're talking about the other 4 teams, right? If you take Everton, well, they were playing brilliant, and I did tip them for top 4 before the start of the season, just because Koeman is in there. But they've got a good starting 11. They don't have a good squad, so let's see what they're like come January. They'll drop points. Spurs are the biggest blow-up merchants on the planet. Do you know, if ever was a time for them to win the league, it was last year. And what happened? They fell apart and finished 3rd. You know, Arsenal can't play through Christmas. City and Chelsea are the 2 threats, in my opinion, because Guardiola knows how to win, and Chelsea are looking good. But I still think that Conte has that slip up in him. Either way, the 4 or 5 teams there who I think will lose points because I don't think they've got the squad to go through the season.
City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Spurs and Chelsea.
Liverpool look good. I don't even want to talk about Liverpool.
They all have looked better than us so far this season.
I don't know, but it's over the course of the season. I think come January, even the end of February direction, we can sit down and have this conversation and see where we're sitting on the table then.
I really, really hope we get top 4. I think I'm just still in down mode after Saturday.
Yeah.
I just thought we're going to win this match, and I felt like we're going to push on. We're going to start moving towards the top 4. We're gaining points on Arsenal, and then all of a sudden you just get that sucker punch on Saturday, and you just think, nah.
I know. Well, let us know what you think at home. So the 2 big questions: was Rooney right to come out and apologise again, effectively? And will we finish top 4? 6 points in it. Chris is saying maybe not. I'm saying I think we will. Let us know what you think in the comments below. As always, if you haven't subscribed yet, banner coming across the bottom of your screen, subscribe now. And let us know what you think. And we'll see you next week. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.